Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the AnzenGuard Podcast. I'm Michael Reynolds, and I'll be your host for this deep dive into the world of VPNs.
That's right. I'm Laura Wilson, and by the end of this deep dive, you'll be able to explain what a VPN is and understand the key features to look for and how to choose the right one for your needs.
Okay, let's get started. First things first. What exactly IA is a VPN?
Well, imagine you're sending a postcard.
Okay.
Anyone who handles that postcard, from the postal workers to the people it passes along the way, can read the message right.
Yeah, makes sense.
A VPN is like sending that postcard in a sealed envelope inside another sealed envelope so only the intended recipient can read it. It creates a secure, encrypted tunnel for your internet traffic, making it much harder for anyone to intercept or decipher your data.
So it's like putting on a disguise for your data as it travels across the internet.
Exactly. And this is especially important when you're using public Wi-Fi networks like those in coffee shops or airports.
Oh, right.
Without a VPN, your data is essentially broadcasting to anyone within range, making you vulnerable to hackers and snoopers.
That makes sense. I always get a little nervous about using public Wi-Fi knowing that my data might be exposed.
Right.
So a VPN acts like a shield protecting my information from those digital eavesdroppers.
Precisely.
Okay, so VPNs are crucial for security and privacy on public Wi-Fi, but are there any other benefits?
Absolutely. VPNs can also help you bypass geo-blocking, which is when websites or streaming services restrict access based on your location.
Oh, like when you're traveling abroad and you find that you can't access your favorite streaming service
Yeah.
because it's not available in that country.
Exactly.
That's happened to me before. Super frustrating.
A VPN can help you overcome those digital borders by connecting to a VPN server in a different location.
Oh, okay.
You can trick the website into thinking you're actually browsing from that region, so you could be sipping a cappuccino in Paris, but virtually be back home binge-watching your favorite shows.
So a VPN is like a digital passport, allowing you to access content from all over the world.
That's a great way to put it. It opens up a world of possibilities for accessing content and information that might otherwise be restricted.
This is amazing. I'm starting to see why VPNs are becoming so popular. But there must be more to it than just connecting to a server, right?
Right.
I keep hearing all these terms like encryption and protocols.
Yeah.
What do those mean?
You're right. There's a whole glossary of VPN terminology out there, but let's focus on a few key terms that are essential for understanding how VPNs work.
Okay.
First up is encryption. Think of it as scrambling your data into an unreadable format, like a top-secret message that only someone with the decoder ring can decipher.
So even if someone manages to intercept my data, it'll just look like gibberish to them without the encryption key.
Exactly. And the encryption keys used by VPNs are incredibly complex,
Oh, wow.
making it virtually impossible for hackers to crack them. This ensures that your data remains confidential and secure.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
What about these VPN protocols I keep hearing about?
VPN protocols are like the rules of the road for your data as it travels through the VPN tunnel.
Okay.
They determine how your data is packaged, transmitted, and secured. Different protocols offer varying levels of security, speed, and compatibility.
So it's like choosing different routes to get to a destination.
Yeah.
Some might be faster, some might be more scenic, but you ultimately want to get there safely.
That's a great analogy. You'll come across names like WireGuard, OpenVPN, and IPsec. Each has its own strengths and weaknesses, so it's good to do a little research to see which one aligns with your needs.
Okay, encryption scrambles our data, and protocols determine how it travels. What else is there?
Another crucial feature to look for is a kill switch. Imagine you're driving through that secure VPN tunnel, and suddenly there's a roadblock.
Oh, no.
The VPN connection drops.
Okay.
A kill switch acts like an emergency brake, immediately cutting off your internet connection to prevent your data from spilling out onto the open road.
Oh, so that's essential.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want my data suddenly becoming exposed just because of a temporary connection hiccup.
Exactly. It's a must-have for ensuring your privacy and security, especially if you're handling sensitive information.
What about this no logs policy that some VPN providers talk about?
That's a big one. A no-logs policy means the VPN provider doesn't keep any records of your online activity,
At all?
including the websites you visit, the files you download, or your IP address.
Oh, wow.
So even if someone were to request this information from them, they wouldn't have anything to hand over.
So it's like having a private browsing session, but on a much larger scale.
Exactly. Choosing a VPN with a strict no-logs policy is crucial for safeguarding your privacy and ensuring that your online activities remain confidential.
This is a lot to take in, but it's fascinating.
Yeah.
We've covered encryption, protocols, kill switches, and no logs policies. Anything else we need to know before we dive into choosing the right VPN?
Yes. One more term that's really helpful to understand is split tunneling. It gives you the flexibility to choose which apps or websites use the VPN connection and which ones don't. Think of it like having separate lanes on a highway. Some traffic goes through the secure VPN tunnel, while other traffic takes the regular route.
So I could be using a VPN for banking and sensitive browsing while still accessing local network resources or streaming content without routing it through the VPN.
Exactly. Split tunneling allows you to customize your VPN usage based on your needs and preferences.
Oh, okay.
You can prioritize security for certain activities while optimizing speed for others.
We're really getting into the nuts and bolts of VPNs now.
We are.
I feel like I'm starting to decode the language of online security.
And speaking of getting into the details, let's move on to the next crucial step: choosing the right VPN provider.
Sounds good. What factors should we consider when making this decision?
Well, security is always paramount. Look for a provider that offers strong encryption, a variety of secure protocols, and that all-important no-logs policy. It's like building a fortress around your data with multiple layers of protection.
Got it. Security first. What else should we be on the lookout for?
Server location is another key consideration. Think about where you need to virtually be to access the content you want.
I see.
For example, if you want to stream shows from the UK, you'll need a VPN with servers in the UK.
So server location is all about unlocking those geo-restricted doors and expanding our digital horizons.
Precisely. And of course, speed is always a factor. Nobody wants a sluggish connection.
Of course not.
Look for a provider with a reputation for fast and reliable servers so you can enjoy a seamless online experience without any buffering or lag.
Okay, so security, server location, and speed are the big three.
Uh-huh.
Are there any other features we should keep in mind?
Yes. You might want to consider whether the VPN offers additional features like split tunneling, dedicated IP addresses, or obfuscation.
Obfuscation. Now that's a new one. What does that do?
Think of obfuscation as a stealth mode for your VPN.
Okay.
It disguises your VPN traffic so that it looks like regular internet traffic.
Oh, interesting.
This can be helpful if you're in a country with strict internet censorship, or if you want to bypass firewalls that block VPN usage.
So obfuscation is like giving your VPN a secret identity to slip past those digital barriers.
Exactly. It can be a powerful tool for maintaining your online freedom and accessing information without restrictions.
This is all incredibly helpful information. I feel like we're really starting to crack the VPN code.
We are. And as you start to explore different VPN providers, you'll find that there's a whole world of options out there.
That's exciting. It's like having a secret weapon for navigating the internet safely, privately, and with more freedom.
Precisely. And now that you have a solid understanding of the basics, you're well equipped to make informed decisions about your online security and privacy. But we're not done yet. There's much more to uncover.
That's right. We'll be back in the next part of this episode to explore some intriguing details from our research.
Stay tuned. We'll be delving into fascinating topics like the black box firewall, the dark web, and the Five Eyes Alliance.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Welcome back to the AnzenGuard Podcast. Before we jump into some of the more intriguing aspects of VPNs, I want to emphasize the importance of a layered security approach.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not just about having a VPN. It's about creating a comprehensive strategy to protect your online presence.
Right.
Kind of like building a fortress with multiple layers of defense.
Exactly. And one fascinating tool that contributes to this layered security approach is the black box firewall. It's like a vigilant guardian constantly monitoring the flow of network traffic for suspicious activity. Imagine it as a security checkpoint scanning every incoming and outgoing packet of data for anything that looks malicious.
So it's like having a security guard at the entrance to your network, scrutinizing everyone who tries to enter.
That's a great analogy. The black box firewall is designed to detect and block a wide range of cyber attacks, from basic port scans to more sophisticated intrusions. It can even act as a broadband router, offering VPN capabilities for remote workers, further enhancing their security.
That's impressive. It's like a multitasking security powerhouse, guarding the network and providing secure remote access.
It really is. Now, let's shift gears and venture into a slightly more mysterious realm: the dark web.
Ooh, the dark web. It always sounds a bit ominous and shadowy, like a place where secrets are traded and hackers lurk in the digital shadows.
It definitely has a certain mystique surrounding it. But what's fascinating is that the dark web is more than just a haven for illegal activities. It also has legitimate uses, providing a platform for anonymous and encrypted communication.
Really? I always thought it was primarily used for illicit purposes, like buying illegal goods or sharing stolen information.
While those activities do occur, it's important to remember that the dark web is simply a part of the internet that's not indexed by standard search engines.
Right.
This anonymity can be incredibly valuable for individuals who need to protect their identities and communicate securely, like journalists working on sensitive stories, activists living under repressive regimes, or whistleblowers exposing wrongdoing.
That's a really interesting perspective. So it's like a double-edged sword, offering both opportunities for privacy and potential for misuse.
Exactly. It's important to approach the dark web with caution and awareness, understanding its complexities and the ethical considerations involved. But it's also a reminder that technology can be used for both good and bad, and that the line between the two is often blurred.
Okay, I'm starting to see the nuances. Now, what about this Five Eyes Alliance? That term pops up a lot in discussions about VPNs and privacy.
The Five Eyes Alliance is an intelligence sharing agreement between 5 countries: the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. They share intelligence data to combat threats like terrorism and cybercrime. However, this has raised concerns about privacy and the potential for mass surveillance.
So if a VPN provider is based in one of these Five Eyes countries, there's a possibility that they might be compelled to share user data with government agencies.
It's a complex issue with legal and ethical considerations. Some individuals might choose a VPN provider outside of these Five Eyes jurisdictions for an extra layer of privacy assurance, while others might prioritize other factors like speed or server location. It ultimately comes down to your individual needs and risk tolerance.
That makes sense. It's all about weighing the various factors and making an informed decision based on your own priorities. Speaking of making informed decisions, let's circle back to VPN protocols.
Okay.
We touched on them earlier, but I'd love to dive a little deeper into what makes each one unique.
Absolutely. Remember, VPN protocols are the foundation of how your data travels through that secure tunnel. They're like different languages that your device and the VPN server use to communicate securely.
So choosing the right protocol is like selecting the most effective way to transmit a secret message, ensuring both security and clarity.
Precisely. And just like languages have their own grammatical structures and nuances, each VPN protocol has its own strengths and weaknesses in terms of security, speed, and compatibility. One protocol that's been generating a lot of buzz lately is WireGuard.
WireGuard.
It's known for its simplicity, speed, and strong security. It's like the sleek, high-performance sports car of VPN protocols designed for efficiency and agility.
So if I'm looking for a fast and reliable VPN connection, WireGuard might be a good option to consider.
It's definitely worth exploring. And what makes WireGuard even more appealing is that it's open source, meaning its code has been reviewed and vetted by the security community.
Oh, that's great.
This transparency adds an extra layer of trust and ensures that the protocol is constantly being improved and refined.
That's reassuring. Now, what about OpenVPN? It seems to be a very popular and well-respected choice in the VPN world.
OpenVPN is like the reliable and customizable workhorse of VPN protocols.
Okay.
It's been around for quite a while and is known for its robust security and flexibility. It offers a wide range of configuration options, allowing users to fine-tune their connection for specific needs.
So if I'm someone who likes to have a lot of control over my settings and prioritize customization, OpenVPN might be a good fit.
It's a solid choice for those who value flexibility and security. While it might not be as fast as WireGuard in some cases, it's incredibly versatile and compatible with a wide range of devices and operating systems.
Okay, so we've got WireGuard for speed and OpenVPN for flexibility. What about IPsec? Where does that fit into the picture?
IPsec, or Internet Protocol Security, is a suite of protocols that's often used in combination with other VPN protocols like L2TP or IKDD.
Okay.
It's known for its strong security and is often favored by businesses and organizations that require robust protection for sensitive data.
So IPsec is like the security detail for corporate VPNs, ensuring that confidential information stays locked down.
You could say that. It's a very robust and widely adopted protocol, especially in enterprise settings where data security is paramount.
This is incredibly helpful. I'm starting to see how the choice of protocol can really impact the VPN experience, depending on your priorities and needs.
It definitely does. And as you delve deeper into the world of VPNs, you'll likely come across even more protocols and variations. But don't let that overwhelm you. The key is to start with the basics and gradually expand your knowledge as you explore different options.
That's reassuring. It's like learning a new language. You don't have to become fluent overnight. You can start with a few key phrases and gradually build your vocabulary. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the black box firewall to the dark web, from the Five Eyes Alliance to VPN protocols.
We have. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to emphasize that the world of VPNs is constantly evolving. New technologies and threats are emerging all the time.
It's crazy how fast technology moves.
Right. So it's crucial to stay informed, keep up with the latest developments, and adapt your approach to online security accordingly. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some additional terms and concepts that can help you navigate the VPN landscape with confidence and make informed choices that align with your needs.
Sounds good. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the AnzenGuard Podcast for the final part of our VPN deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground already, from the foundational concepts of encryption and protocols to the intriguing world of the dark web and the Five Eyes Alliance. But there are a few more pieces of the puzzle we should explore before we wrap up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with a term you might have come across. Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES.
Okay.
It's one of the most widely used encryption standards in the world, and it's considered highly secure. Imagine it as a vault with multiple locks, each one incredibly difficult to pick.
Oh, I see.
That's the level of protection AES offers.
So it's like Fort Knox for my data.
Exactly. AES uses a symmetric block cipher, which means it uses the same key for both encryption and decryption.
Okay.
It's like having a master key that locks and unlocks the vault, ensuring that only someone with that key can access the contents.
That makes sense. Now, I've also heard of another encryption algorithm called RSA. How does that compare to AES?
RSA is an asymmetric encryption algorithm, meaning it uses two different keys, a public key for encryption and a private key for decryption. Think of it as having two separate keys, one to lock the vault and another to unlock it. The public key can be shared with anyone, but the private key must be kept secret. This ensures that only the person with the private key can decrypt the message.
So it's like a two-step verification process for encryption.
Precisely. RSA is often used for secure communication, like email encryption and digital signatures. Some VPN providers use RSA for key exchange, while others rely on AES for data encryption, or even a combination of both to provide robust protection.
It's fascinating to see how these different encryption methods work together to create a secure environment for our online activities.
Yeah.
Speaking of online activities, can we talk about DNS? I know it has something to do with websites, but I'm not exactly sure how it works.
DNS stands for Domain Name System, and it's essentially the Internet's phone book. Remember how we talked about IP addresses being like numerical street addresses for computers? Well, DNS translates human-readable domain names like google.com into those numerical IP addresses that computers can understand.
So it's like a directory that helps us find the right address for the websites we want to visit without having to remember those long strings of numbers.
Exactly. When you type a domain name into your browser, your computer sends a DNS request to a DNS server, which looks up the corresponding IP address and directs your traffic to the correct website.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does this relate to VPNs?
Well, without a VPN, your DNS requests are typically handled by your ISP,
Okay.
which means they can see all the websites you're visiting. But when you use a VPN, your DNS requests are routed through the VPN server, adding an extra layer of privacy.
So it's like having a private phone book that only you and the VPN server can access, keeping your browsing history hidden from your ISP.
Precisely. This prevents your ISP from tracking your online activities and building a profile of your browsing habits. It's another way VPNs help protect your privacy and keep your online behavior confidential.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together to create a comprehensive security and privacy solution. We've talked about encryption protocols, DNS, and many other aspects of VPNs. As we wrap up this deep dive, are there any final thoughts or key takeaways you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Choosing the right VPN is a personal decision based on your individual needs and priorities. But the knowledge you've gained during this deep dive will empower you to make informed choices, ask the right questions, and navigate the world of VPNs with confidence.
That's a great point. It's not about finding the best VPN for everyone, but rather the best VPN for you based on your specific requirements and how you use the internet. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of VPNs to some of the more nuanced and intriguing aspects. Hopefully you're feeling more confident and knowledgeable about how VPNs work and the benefits they offer.
I hope so too. Remember, the internet is a powerful tool, but it's also important to be aware of the risks and take steps to protect your privacy and security. VPNs are a valuable tool in your digital arsenal, helping you stay safe and secure while exploring the vast landscape of the online world.
Absolutely. And on that note, we've reached the end of this episode of the AnzenGuard Podcast. I'm Michael Reynolds.
And I'm Laura Wilson. Thank you for joining us on this VPN deep dive.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this podcast with your friends. Stay safe and secure out there in the digital world.